Hi, welcome to your Flow 60 class. So this class is all about boundaries and exploring our boundaries. So boundaries are a form of self-care. They allow us to strengthen relationships, foster intimacy and connection, while setting limits and expectations for behaviour. So during this class, we'll be exploring into those boundaries and setting some level for ourselves and our practice. And that might be that we tune into what we need. We find a level of where we're at today, no matter where we've come from, and either honour or move above that boundary. We may also move below it. And those options are going to give you that sense of exploration within those boundaries. So as we move through the options, you'll be able to take it as far or as little as you want, so that you can either see how it feels to go above a boundary that you've set, or see how it feels to stay within it or go below it. So this class is really going to be up to you in how you approach it. There's going to be lots of options, and as always, everything is invitational. So even more so for this class, if there's something you're seeing on the screen that you're thinking that is not within my remit today, then by all means listen to that. This is the very essence of this class that I want to come through. So tuning into what our needs, as we saw previously, is the very fundamental bottom line of setting boundaries. So honour it, see where you get, and allow yourself that space to explore. So I've got a couple of bricks with me today. You shouldn't need anything more than those for your practice. However, if you'd like to have something else with you, a blanket, bolster for any relaxation, then feel free to grab those as well. So we're going to start with a little bit of a meditation, just to help ground us into our practice. And to help us start that mind frame of working with boundaries, finding where we're at today. So I invite you to find a comfortable seat, and that might mean for you lying down on your back. It could mean sitting cross-legged like myself, or it could mean sitting in any other variation that feels comfortable for you to settle in and ground. I invite you to close down the eyes. You can also soften the gaze on something down on the floor, if that feels more comfortable for you. And just noticing if, first of all, there's any movement that you need to take before you settle into your grounding practice. Maybe you notice the point of contact the body has with the floor beneath you. Allowing yourself to settle, allowing the breath to become its own natural rhythm. As we ground into the space, first of all, just noticing if there's been any boundaries that you've set for yourself in order to come into this practice. Maybe that boundary is a certain time within the week that you take for yourself. Maybe there's been a boundary so that you can leave any other duties aside. Maybe you've created some space. That might be in the form of childcare, specific room. Also noticing if there has been no boundaries that's brought you here. Are they open? Settling into a practice, maybe for the first time or as and when you need it. And then just starting to notice the room, sense of the room around you, where you've settled yourself for your practice today. What boundaries can you think of within this room that allow you to practice here? There might be a door that's been closed in symbol of some time for yourself. Maybe you're just noticing the physical boundaries and the space between them, of the walls. Noticing any boundaries that the furniture around you create. Maybe they section smaller space for you to hold you. And drawing that awareness a little closer, notice the boundary that we set for our mat. How does it feel when we tune into our mat? The space in which we move, breathe, feel. Are we particular? Do we move off the mat quite often? Do we stay within the boundaries of the mat? Maybe you're not quite sure there were any boundaries for this mat, and that's okay too. As we draw our awareness closer towards us, noticing the boundaries of the self. Boundaries can you think of that you set for yourself? Maybe you honor, maybe you're a little looser than you would like. This could be physical boundary, boundary of skin or touch, boundary of who you let in. Noticing that the skin holds this boundary for us. And we can add on to this at any time. You can change it at any time. And then gently bringing ourselves underneath the layer of our physical self. And tuning into our energy center. Noticing any boundaries within that. You often overstep the boundary of expending more energy than you have. You usually stay within the limits of your energy. Maybe you have lots of energy, but don't tend to use it all up or know what to do with. And you may want to use a different analogy here for the purpose of our meditation. I want to offer a scale of our energy from 1 to 10. 1 being the very least amount of energy that you could possibly have, and 10 being the most energy that you have. You tune into where your energy center sits today. Where would you sit on the scale? Maybe you're right smack bang in the middle. Equal energy. Maybe you're raring to go, possibly finding it's a little difficult to sit still this morning, this evening. And so higher on the scale. Or maybe you're feeling not quite ready to go into a big practice. And so lower on the scale. As we move through this practice, simply reminding ourselves of where we're sitting ourselves on this scale today, so that we can take what we need into our decisions for our boundaries, into the decisions of the options given to us. Allow yourself to let go of the thoughts of boundaries just for a moment. Allow the breaths to become a little deeper. You take a nice deep inhale through the nose. You can sigh it all away if that feels good for you. Take 2 more. Last one, the biggest breath you've got. When you feel ready to start moving into our practice, gently blinking the eyes open, making your way from wherever you are into a child's position. And so you can take any optional variation here. You can take the knees out wide, the toes together. You can take the knees together. Sitting the hips down and allowing the forehead to come down onto the mat. You can also rest it onto a brick here at any point throughout this little bit of sequence. And grabbing a brick if you need it. And then from here, we're just going to walk the hands over to the right. And keep anchored down through the hips so that you're finding this nice long stretch all the way down the left side of the body. I'm just going to stretch first of all. And then ground down through the left palm and really push every knuckle, every fingertip into the mat. And you should start to feel that left shoulder is starting to activate. We're just warming through here. So keeping the arm nice and straight, nice and active into the shoulder. And then if you want to add on to this, you can cactus that right arm, just draw it backwards. It's like a little bit of a wing there. So we're in quite an active position here. And again, if you need that support with a brick underneath the forehead, go ahead and adjust. Take a nice deep breath. And then exhaling as you release into that side stretch once again. Walking hands through center when you're ready, and then taking it to the opposite side. So just settling in for that stretch on the opposite side, first of all. Lengthening down the right side of the body, really anchoring the hips backwards. And then just as we did before, grounding down through that right palm this time, right knuckles, fingertips, really activating the right shoulder. Noticing that warmth coming through. And then if you wanted as well, that left arm is going to cactus. So you're drawing that shoulder blade back. You're squeezing one shoulder blade, pressing down with the other. And you might find that there's a few little shakes going on. That's fine. It's just warming through. And on the exhale, lowering it all the way down, soften, release the activation. And then gently walking yourself back through center. Through into a tabletop position. So knees underneath the hips, arms underneath the shoulders, spread the fingers wide, and you can tuck the toes here if it feels more comfortable for the knees, or add any padding. We're just going to move into a little bit of a core activation from here, just to warm through. So we are actually going to tuck our toes. And then from here, we're going to lift the knees. So press the hands into the mat, spread the shoulders nice and wide, and then lift the knees just ever so slightly off the mat. It might not even go very far. What we're looking for is really pushing the mat away from us, so our shoulder blades are nice and active and spread apart. Core's engaged. We're warming through the midline. A bit of activation going on in the quads. Take a nice deep breath, and you should be about an inch away from the floor, so it's not much at all. And then exhale as you lower back down. Take any wiggles that you need. And we're going to add on to this. So if you were happy in that, then you can stay there. Listening to that energy center, listening to where you are today, maybe honoring that boundary. Tuck the toes, press the mat away from you, spread the shoulders, lift the knees, and then we're just going to lift up the right foot. So keeping that left knee hovering an inch from the mat, and then drop it back down. Shift the weight, and then lift the left toes. And drop it back down. So take it slow. Notice the shift in the weight. Notice the core adapting as we take one off then the other. Into that left foot now. Let's take one more each side. Keep pushing the mat away from you. Spread the shoulders. Last time on the left. And lower the knees down, maybe find child's position just for a breather. And then we're going to come back through that and then give you another option. So again, tuning into that energy center that scale that we placed ourselves on. What do you need from this today? Do you need that warming through? Do you need to expend more energy? So finding a level. So you've got the first level, which is just lifting the knees. Second level, which is moving through each side, lifting the toes. And the third level is going to take the leg out straight. So we're coming into a bird dog. And I'm going to demonstrate that one. So take any other variation that you need when you're ready. Press the mat away from you, spread the shoulders, tuck the toes, lift the knees, and then take whatever variation you are doing. If you're with me, you're going to take that right leg out, bring it back in. Keep the knees lifted, and then swap it over. So the knees are not dropping back down in between this movement. Make it nice and slow, controlled. alternating each side. We'll take this last right one, last left. And then when you're ready, drop the knees, take a child's position. Take a moment to check in. How are you feeling? Did you stay within the boundary that you set yourself? Did you explore further or lower? Notice how that made you feel if you did explore. And then when you're ready to come back through that tabletop, we'll find ourselves into a downward facing dog. So press through the hands, tuck the toes, we'll lift the hips up nice and high this time. And that nice long line from wrists all the way to the hips. And you can find any movement here, lengthening into the back of the legs. And noticing what feels good for you, tuning into those needs. I'm just going to warm through the rest of our body. So I'm going to take the right leg forward, step it in between the hands, and then you can drop the back knee if that feels better for you. You can keep it lifted. Ground down through the left palm, right hand goes up towards the ceiling. Find a twist here. And a nice deep breath in. Exhale to plant the palms, lift the back knee, step to the top of the mat and find your forward fold. Slight, nice deep bend in the legs. The feet can be hip width apart. Inhale as you find a halfway lift. So lengthening through all of the body. Find that right angle with the belly button in. Exhale as you fold. Inhale to curl all the way up to standing. Sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, heart center. Bend knees as you fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale as you fold. And then step back with the right leg. Drop the back knee if you did on the opposite side. Ground down through the right palm. Left palm goes up for a twist. A nice deep breath in here. Exhale to plant the palm back down. Step back to a downward facing dog. Find any movement here that you need. And we're going to work through that little sequence 2 more times. So when you're ready, stepping forward with the right leg. Ground down through the left palm, right palm goes up. Exhale, plant the palm back down. Lift the back knees, step to the top of the mat. Fold on the exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale as you fold. Inhale to curl all the way up to standing, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, fold it over. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Step back with the right leg. Drop the back knee. Ground down the right palm, left arm goes up. Exhale to plant the palm. Step back to downward facing dog. Nice deep breath. From here, last time, right foot goes forward. Drop the back knee, find your twist. Inhale here. Exhale to plant palms, lift back knees, step to the top of the mat. Fold it over. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to curl all the way up to standing, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Step back with the right leg. Plant the right palm. Inhale, left arm goes up. Exhale, plant the palms. Step back to a downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath. The next inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Step or walk to the top of the mat. Fold here. Inhale to curl it all the way up to standing, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, heart center. I'm going to move into our options. So you might want to have your bricks nearby. I'm going to take them to the top of my mat, either side, just so I can grab hold of them. And we're going to add on to this little sequence. And then I'm going to give you some options once we're in certain positions. So again, check in with where you're feeling. Maybe you are feeling a little playful today, want to explore some boundaries. Maybe you're feeling as though you're not that playful and you want to stay within the boundaries that you set for yourself. By all means, go with that. So each time you come back to this practice, it can be a very different practice, depending on where you're feeling, where you're setting yourself, and what you want to explore. So when you're ready, hands at heart center, take a nice deep breath in as you reach up. Exhale as you fold over. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. I'm going to plant both palms, step back to a downward facing dog. Start of our sequence. A nice deep breath here. Really lifting the hips up nice and high. And then step the right foot forward. You might need to give it a shuffle to get it there. And you can either keep the knee down or lifted, your choice. Ground down through the left palm. And then find that twist just as we did. Take a nice deep breath here. Maybe you explore with the knee at the back, dropping it down, or lifting it up. See where you're at. On the exhale, plant the palms. And then we're going to bring our bricks in to begin with. So find the highest height for you. I'm going to come into our pyramid position. So the toes are facing forward. We're on a train track rather than the feet behind each other. And we're lengthening through the front leg. So we really want to think about sending the heart forward so the spine is nice and long. And today, this might be where you stay. So taking a moment to think about how that feels. If you want to stay here, stay here. And I'm going to give you some options. So from here, our hands are on our bricks underneath the shoulders. They're supporting us. We're going to strengthen into the legs. And then maybe you take off that left hand and reach forward. That's one option. If you're happy with that and think, I've got a bit more energy today, I'm going to take off the opposite arm. So all of a sudden, we've got this strengthening happening in the legs, the core's involved. And then your third option is to bring the right hand down, wrap it around the big toes, and take the left arm up towards the ceiling. So you're in variation of pyramid, finding balance, keeping focus, keeping the hips facing forwards, lengthening down back to the legs. Find what feels good for you. Set that boundary for yourself. And if you're working with that exploration, maybe stay within it. Maybe you see what it feels like to go above it, underneath it. A nice deep breath wherever you are. And on the exhale, if you've been the last option, you're going to bring the hands back down to the bricks, bend back into the knee, step the back foot to the top of the mat, and forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to curl up to standing. Reach all the way up. Exhale, heart center. And take a moment here to notice how that felt in your body. How one side feels compared to the other. Let's take it to the opposite side. So inhale to reach up. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Step back with the right leg. I'm going to come and find the palm twist first of all. So keeping that back knee lifted if that feels good. Ground down through the right palm, left palm goes up towards the ceiling. And maybe you explore with lifting the back knee here, lowering it down. Whatever feels explorative for you and within the boundaries that you set yourself. Nice deep breath in. And then on the exhale, plant the palms. Step that back in ever so slightly and lengthen through the legs. So bringing those bricks with us, coming into our pyramid. So lengthen through the spine first of all, find your base. We've got a nice tall spine, lengthening through the legs, toes are facing forwards. Our back heel is down, so if you need to step the back foot in ever so slightly to make that happen, then feel free to do so. And think about hinging from the hips, so you've got this nice lengthening sensation all the way down the back of that left leg. And sending the heart towards the top of the mat. And if it feels where you're staying on this side, maybe you would readjust the boundary and stay here. If not, your options are to take off that right hand. And second option to take off both hands. So already we're really strong in the legs, core's becoming involved. And then your third option is to wrap two piece fingers around the big toe and open the right arm up towards the side. So you've got this little bit of a twist going on as well. Keep the hips facing forward if you're in this variation. Twisting through the spine. Shoulders start to stack. A nice deep breath. On the exhale, bring the hands back to the bricks underneath the shoulders. Bend into the knee. Then release the bricks, plant the palms. Step back to a downward facing dog. Walk out anything that you need. Nice deep breath. Maybe sigh it all away. And when you're ready, inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Step and walk the feet to the top of the mat, find a forward fold. Inhale as you curl all the way up to standing, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Take a moment here to check in. Notice. Do you need to readjust any boundaries? Was something too far out of your energy center today? Know that you can readjust boundaries at any point. I'm going to add on to our sequence once again. So when you feel ready, on an inhale, reach up. Exhale as you fold over. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Step back to a downward facing dog. Nice deep breath in. Pressing the knuckles into the mat. And step the right foot forward. Ground down through the left foot, find that twist. Again, adjusting if you need to, dropping that back knee, lifting it. And push the mat away from you so we're active in that left shoulder. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale as you plant palms. Bring your bricks in. So readjusting where you need from the boundary that we set ourselves. Step that back foot in, toes are facing forward, drop the back heel. Lengthen through the legs. Find your foundation first of all. Lengthen through the spine. Notice that gentle tilt of the pelvis. You start to squeeze belly towards thigh. Heart ascending towards the top of your mat. Really reach through the sternum. Take a nice deep breath here. And then make a mental note of where you're going to take this particular pose. And then either staying there, taking the left arm up. Maybe you take the right. Maybe you wrap the right fingertips around the big toe and open out into your balance. Keeping your focus and your gaze on something still. Hips are always facing forwards. Just gently tilting them back round if they've moved out. Take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, start to bring the hands back to the bricks. Nice deep breath in. Bend into that front knee and release the bricks. We're going to plant the palms down and we're going to come into a side plank. So there's lots of variations in this. So feel free to watch first and then come in. So we're planting our palms down. We're going to come onto the left side. So from here, your first option is to roll onto that outer edge of the back foot. Walk this right front foot back a little bit until you find it useful as a kickstand. Lift the hips nice and high. Push the palms into the mat. And then find your Vashisthasana side plank variation here. If you're happy here, stay here. If you want to take it into a full side plank, that right leg stacks on top of the leg. Keep pushing through the mat. If you want to take it further, you can bend into that right knee and lift it open. Wherever you are, take a nice deep breath. Keep lifting up through the side body. And then whichever variation you've taken, step it back into that runner's lunge, right foot at the top. Plant the palms, step back to a downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath. Notice how that felt. Dropping it down into a child. So let's take a breather. Take a note of where you went. Did it feel too much, too little? Just right. Finding that boundary. And you're wanting to push that boundary. And when you're ready, let's take all of that on the opposite side. So finding a downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath. And step the left foot forward. Keeping that back knee lifted or down, your choice. Ground down through the right palm, left arm goes up, find your twist. All variations are welcome. Exhale as you plant the palms back down and bring the bricks in. Bricks are underneath the shoulders. We're going to step that back foot in so that you can drop the back heel. Find the foundation of our pyramid. Toes are forward. We're on train tracks. Lengthen through legs. Tilt that pelvis forward just a touch. Send the heart towards the top of the mat. Nice flat back. And adjusting that boundary or setting the same on this side. If you want it, maybe you take the right arm up. Maybe you take both arms off. Maybe you wrap left fingertips around that big toe and open the right arm out for that balance. Find your variation. And just notice if that right hip is creeping backwards. Bring it so it's facing forwards. The twist should be coming from the very center of the spine. If you've taken that variation, a nice deep breath. On the exhale, plant the palms back onto your brick. Bend into the front knee, readjust that back foot and release the bricks. Plant the palms down. We're going to move it into our side plank. So finding that variation, maybe you knock it down, maybe you turn it up. If you're coming into the first one, you're rolling onto the back, outer edge of that back foot, and just walk this left foot somewhere in the center line so that you can use it as a kickstand. Push the mat away from you with that right hand. Use the left leg to lift the hips, and then take up that left arm. From here, you can stay here. Maybe notice how that feels for you. If you want more, then you can take that left foot down, stack it on top of the right for your full plank. And if you want to go further, then you can bend into that top leg. Keep pushing the hips up nice and high, stacking the shoulders. Wherever you are, take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, step the the left foot back to the top into that runner's lunge, and then back into downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in. Sigh it all out. Let's drop down onto the knees, send the hips back, find child's position. Allow yourself to retune in which bits didn't resonate with you. Which option did you take that might need some readjustment? Make a note here. Readjust the boundary. And then when you feel ready, take that little sequence one more time. So you can put in place your new boundary or the readjustment. So tuck the toes, send it back to a downward facing dog. You're ready on an inhale, look forward, walk the feet towards the top of the mat. And a forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale as you curl all the way up to standing. Exhale, heart center. So same sequence. We've found full extent of our sequence now. So adding in the variations, staying with whatever boundary you've set yourself. Make that decision here. And then when you're ready, we'll move through that sequence to your boundary. On the inhale, reach up. Exhale as you fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale as you fold. Step back to a downward facing dog first of all. Nice deep breath here. And step the right foot forward. Find the twist. Knee down, knee up. Your boundary. Exhale as you plant the palm and bring the bricks in. Set up your foundation for pyramid. Step that back foot in if you need it. toes face forward. Lengthen through the legs, tilt the pelvis forward, reach through the heart. And then adding on your variation. Maybe the left hand, maybe both hands. If you're going straight for it, right fingertips around the big toe, left arm up towards the ceiling. Tune into the hips while they're facing forward. A nice deep breath. Meet your boundary here. Whatever variation you're working on, letting go of what we think we should be doing and doing what we know we should be doing that's true to us, true to our boundary. On the next exhale, plant the palms back onto your brick. Bend into the front knee, release the bricks and plant the palms. Readjust into that runner's lunge, and then from here we're going to go into that side plank variation. So making your way into the boundary that you set for yourself. So that might be level 1 with the right foot as a kickstand. You might be full extent of your side plank, or you might even lift off that knee. Wherever you are, find your variation. Take a nice deep breath. Keep pushing the mat away from you. Shoulders are nice and strong. On the exhale, take it back to the runner's lunge. Plant the palms. Step back to a downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. Step the left foot forward when you're ready. Plant the right palm, find your twist. Stay within your boundary. Exhale to plant the palms, bring the bricks in. Step the back foot in if you need to, drop that back heel, lengthen through the legs, tilt the hips forward. Reach through the heart. And find your variation you're working on, the boundary that you've set. Maybe both arms, maybe one arm, or the left fingertips wrapping around the left big toe. Hips are facing forwards. Take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, bring the hands back to the bricks. Bend into the front knee. Find your runner's lunge once more. Plant the palms. And then finding your side plank variation on the opposite side. So rolling onto the outer edge of that back foot. Maybe you're here with the kickstand. Maybe you're in full side plank. And if you are taking it there today, you're bending into the knee. Pointing through the toe. Push the mat away from you wherever you are. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale as you bring that left foot back into that runner's lunge. On both palms, send it back to downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in. Side all the way. Drop to the knees, send the hips back for a child. Tune back in. Notice how it felt to readjust, to bring that boundary line closer to your true alignment, closer to what felt right for you. Take some nice deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, We're going to make our way to a seated position. So from here, we're going to take the feet out in front of us. And you can place a little bit of blanket underneath if you've got one, or fold your mat up if you need it, so that you can find a nice tall spine. I'm going to bend into the right knee first of all. I'm going to cross it over the opposite side. Now you can stay here with the sole of the foot planted on the floor, or you can drop the knee over, so it's sort of a half lotus, whichever feels more comfortable, especially around the knee. So if your sole of the foot is flat on the floor, you might start to lean forward and find a little bit of a stretch down the back of the leg. If the top of the foot is on the floor and the knee is coming down, then you'll feel a bit more of intensity in that. So find what feels good. You might not fold forward as much. We're just looking for a little gentle tug into the back of that left leg. Take a nice deep breath here. And then gently walking the hands to support you as you come out. Lift the knee, send it out to the bottom of the mat. Take that the opposite way, so readjust. Taking the left foot to the outside of the right leg. You can place the sole of the foot down and lean forward, or you can scoop it up so that the top of the foot is meeting the mat. Flex into that right foot, and then just gently start to fold forwards. Keep the heart up. Send it towards the toes. Just for that gentle tug down the back of the right leg. You don't want to go too deep into this, just something nice and around 60%, I would say. Nice deep breath. And then when you're ready, walking the hands back towards you, releasing the legs. And then we're going to come into a reclined position. So have nearby anything for your final Shavasana. And then from here, just going to find a reclined eagle. So I'm going to take my knees up towards me. I'm going to cross my right over my left. And then I'm going to take the arms up towards the ceiling, and the left is going to go over the right. I'm going to hook at the elbows and then draw the backs of the hands together. So the forearms should be parallel towards the ceiling, crossing the legs. You can wrap the ankles if that feels good. And see if you can send the hands towards the back of the room, forearms towards the ceiling. Take a nice deep breath here. And then on the exhale, gently unraveling everything. Maybe rocking the knees from side to side, working to the hips. And let's take that the opposite way. So knees back in, cross the left over the right. You can hook around the ankle if that feels comfortable. You don't need to. Then taking the hands up towards the ceiling, the right goes over the left. Hook the elbows together so they can't move, and then draw the backs of the hands together. And if there's a bit of a V shape with the arms, that's absolutely fine. And see if you can bring forearms towards the ceiling and point the hands, send them up overhead. Take a nice deep breath. And gently on the exhale, unraveling everything. Finding any movement that feels welcome here. And settling yourself down into a position for your relaxation. So that might be legs out straight, knees bent, and the knees supporting one another at the midline. You might prefer to take this seated, or even the legs up the wall. Take that last opportunity to check in into your needs. And set yourself up so that you can answer that need here. Invite you to close down the eyes. Soften the gaze. And simply allow the breath to breathe on its own accord, in its own rhythm. Gently noticing contact points the body has with the mat. Noticing how the body feels. What part is being drawn to. What boundaries are coming to light for you that you need to put in place. Maybe that means reaching out and asking for assistance. Maybe it's something that you need to communicate to others. Maybe it's something that you need to do for yourself. All this time outplay any boundaries that you wish to set. Allow yourself to stay here for as long as you can allow. Until next time. Namaste.